Hi there. Most of you who know me probably know that it's hard for me to stay on track when I'm talking to anyone, and especially right now to you. But today I want to start with the book of Genesis. And we start in Genesis 1:1. And before we get into that, let me read what I wrote. Now, Genesis is the foundation book of both the Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Bible. And in any language other than English, most of the languages they'll call it the first book of Moses, second, etc. So the first book of Moses is Genesis. It is the foundational book of both the Torah and the Bible. Many theologians believe that Moses simply wrote down from oral traditions. There's a problem in that. I don't know if any of you have ever played the game telephone, where you are in a circle, right around the circle, and you whisper, and you tell the person next to you what you just heard the previous person say. And most of the time when you've gone around the circle with 10 different people, that as soon as you say what the 10th person just said, it's usually completely different. Now you need to understand that I disagree. I believe it is not unreasonable that Adam and his descendants all knew how to write and kept records of their own times. Why do I say this? Well, in the Bible, it's in Genesis chapter 5, verse 1, it says, the book of the generations of Adam. The book of the generations of Adam. They must have kept some kind of record. See, it's evident that Moses added editorial content. As soon as you read the first 11 chapters of Genesis, and you hear about it, because we're going to study it in very small segments, like 3 or 4 verse segments, so that you can get the complete gist of what is being said. Now, Moses wrote editorial contents. For example, he gave the border of the Garden of Eden. Now, if there was a flood in the area, of course there would not be anything left behind. So where did he get that from? You see, Moses added editorial contents from both records handed down from generation to generation, plus oral tradition. I'm not ruling out oral tradition. You see, for example, right now, it's just after Christmas, and in our local area, our oral tradition for Christmas is that we open all our presents Christmas Eve, and we believe the Christ child delivered the gifts to us. We listen to the bell ringing, and we rush into the living room to see the presents under the tree, but we never catch the Christ child having been there. It's an oral tradition. And the oral traditions differ from area to area because, after all, the interpretation and the understanding has changed. So Moses had an oral tradition plus written records carried on down by the rabbis and by the holy men as they kept them and preserved them from the Egyptians. Now I'll read to you what I wrote today. In the beginning, God created heaven and the earth. Yeah, that's how the Bible begins. Literally, the first words say, in beginning, God created. Any language, because sometimes they leave out the. So in the beginning. Yeah, well, no, it's in beginning, God created. Or in beginning, created God. Whatever. But those are the first 4 words. These words are majestic in their simplicity. God, who is eternal and timeless, he invented time. In the beginning, the first verse tells me God simply is. Did he not say to Moses later on? Tell them, I am has sent you. I am. God simply is. The Bible never tries to prove the existence of God. It just says he is. He is. The first verse, Genesis 1:1, tells me, heavens and earth have a beginning, but God does not. That just blows my mind. Whoa! This is simply unimaginable and beyond any understanding I have. No beginning and no end? Whoa! Just one of those mind-boggling things. No attempt is made to prove the existence of our Creator. It simply says God created heavens and earth. In other words, God did not just create time. He created space, the heavens, and he created matter, the earth. From our Judeo-Christian perspective, because I'm a Christian, the triune God created a triune reality. Space, time, and matter. People have made fun of me, and they stated simple account is totally unscientific. How can that be scientific? God created heaven and earth. We know that we had this big bang, nothing to all kinds of something. Huh? That requires more faith than believing in a creator. Do you realize that? A transcendent creator performing a special creation of our known universe is confirmed by 3 scientific principles. What's the first? The first is the law of causality. Something was caused, which states no effect can be greater than its cause. I would like to go into great detail here, but any of you who have a scientific knowledge would understand this. A universe including intelligible, complex effects, quote, which include living systems and conscious personalities, that's you and me, is in itself proof of an intelligent, complex, living, and conscious designer as its cause. Whoa. Again. God is the uncaused causer of all things. And there's 2 more. The second and third principles are the 2 laws of thermodynamics. Simply put, for those of you who don't have a scientific mind, simply put, what does it say? The first law states, no matter or energy Got it? No matter or energy is now created or destroyed. In other words, if the energy is taken away from somewhere else, it is applied somewhere else. From here, here. See, so when things, like the circle of life. Anyway, let's go on. The second law simply says all existing matter or energy is breaking down from the complex to the simple. All matter breaks down from the complex to the simple. Whoa. There is just no room for a development of simple to complex. It's the other way around. So if there is a complex stuff broken down into simple, then there must have been a creator, right? There is no other way to look at it. In short, yes, I'm simple enough to accept in the beginning, God created heaven and earth.